Christian Gillibrand talks about reforming AARO. James Fox says he has whistleblowers, that is like David Grush level whistleblowers, on camera, and a whole bunch more. So get in here, it's time for another UFO news roundup. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, please share on social media, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the first link in the description below. Okay, this is from Ask a Poll from the excellent reporter Matt Laszlo. Senator Christian Gillibrand exclusively tells Ask a Poll her and a bipartisan group of senators are quietly pressuring officials in the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, to make the necessary reforms so whistleblowers start trusting the office. One she says Congress is dependent on for intelligence on U.A.P. So that's amazing. Now we know that Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, is of course the fox guarding the henhouse over there at AARO. Will all of that change? What do these reforms entail? Gillibrand goes on, these claims are very serious and I take all of them very seriously. And I want to make sure our service members know they can come forward and disclose all projects they worked on. And it's important that the whistleblower community feels comfortable talking to AARO and having those conversations in skiffs so that AARO can do its job thoroughly. Otherwise, they can't. So if whistleblowers don't come forward, they can't assess their claims, they can't find programs that they're talking about. Well, I mean, if Sean Kirkpatrick would call David Grush back, that would be a start, right? But obviously we need AARO to function, unless the White House Interoffice Agency can be our real, UFO program, and I don't see that happening. They seem to have played some part in the Schumer-Rounds amendment. But they have been very quiet, except for that. And even during that, they were very quiet. We had to hear rumors about that. So I don't see them stepping to the forefront to take over the UFO field from AARO to wrest the crown away from Sean Kirkpatrick. So what we need is for AARO to fulfill its purpose. I firmly believe that AARO was created with the noblest of intentions by people like Chris Mellon, etc. I think that he was one of the original authors of the original language. Anyway, so we need AARO to function correctly. At some point along the way, it was subverted from the noble intentions and taken over by the control group. And I think that actually happened during the U.A.P. task force when Jay Stratton was replaced by Bray. And, as near as I can tell, those are the sequence of events. And, I imagine that David Grush was probably began his investigations under under Jay Stratton, not Bray. So, but, I would, if I get corrected on that, I get corrected on that. But I just don't see Bray as a, an active, advocate of disclosure or, any transparency. But AARO does seem to have been created with the best of intentions. And if we can get back to that, that would be wonderful. I don't see that happening with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick in charge, though. I really don't. But, now that he is out from under Ronald Moultrie, it is theoretically possible that that could change. However, since he's lied about every single public statement or appearance, he's just told whopper after whopper every time he goes on camera or any other way interacting with the public. He just, he seems to be an agent of the control group who is intentionally spreading disinformation. But, time will tell. Maybe Kirsten can reform him. Who knows? But if they can't reform him, they need to get rid of him. At least that's what I think. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, it's always good to remember this clip from James Fox. This is from an interview 5 months ago, but this information is still golden. He says he has whistleblowers, potentially David Grush level whistleblowers, on camera talking about this stuff.
But what I'm doing and what many others are doing, we're meeting with the intel folks on the inside that have already gone to testify to AARO, which is run by Sean Kirkpatrick. That's the new U.A.P. task force. And they're going on camera with people like myself. And I've gotten a number of them on camera already. And they're disclosing not the classified parts, but what they've disclosed basically behind closed doors. In other words, I'm providing the names of the programs. I'm providing the names of the individuals involved with the programs, the locations of these programs. And in fact, if you get me the classifications, I can walk you in the door. So the clearances. So if the government,
I want to be walked in the door, James Fox. I want to see this stuff. I want to see a UFO. Come on, that'd be so cool. I mean, I guess I have seen a UFO, but I want to see a UFO up close and personal. I want the tour of Area 51 or Wright-Patterson, wherever these things currently are. But I really want to see those videos with those whistleblowers who are in the intel community, just like David Grush, and have potentially bombshell information to share with us. And he has that information and he has those videos. So what exactly is he waiting for? Maybe this is going to be the subject of his new documentary. I hear that he's actually going down to South America. And I am extremely excited about that. I can't wait to see what he digs up about Nazca or whatever else he's going to investigate down there. There are so many mysteries and secrets related to the phenomenon south of the border, and I can't wait to see what he digs up. But if he's not going to release those videos in that documentary, because that's not the subject of it, when exactly is he going to release those videos? Is he just holding that over the head of, Sean Kirkpatrick and others, Mike Turner, all those guys, saying, if you don't disclose, I will? What do you guys think? When is he going to release those videos? Meanwhile, Jim Semivan is back on the prowl, talking about saying that we share the planet with alien life. There's some kind of non-human intelligence that's been living with us on this planet, Semivan proclaimed. Apparently, we're not alone, and we've never been. And I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'll link to it in the description below. It's always good to hear Jim Semivan, even if he has a more negative take on the phenomenon than I personally do. But then again, he has had a very, very negative experience. He and his wife had some sort of really horrible experience happen to them in their own bedroom. Some being or something materialized and hurt one of them in some way. We don't know exactly what. We don't even know if this was more alien or more paranormal. But either way, it shook him, and now he has a very negative view of the phenomenon. But he's not wrong. There are negative beings out there, and we are not alone on this planet. On the recent episode of Neil Mitchell with Ross Coulthart, Ross goes into a little detail about Jim Semivan and his experiences, but he says that Jim has always been very vague about what happened to him. And then Ross goes on to talk about other dimensions and how they may be related to the phenomenon. And here he is saying he believes the phenomenon is actually a range of phenomena, and some of that encompasses other dimensional activity. But there's other components to it as well.
My personal preference is, from the people that I speak to, I think what we're dealing with here is possibly a group of non-human intelligences, some being interdimensional, some being from outside our galaxy, other parts of the universe, visiting us through their capacity to warp space-time. But I also think there is a possibility that what we are talking about is what they call crypto-terrestrial. It's been here all along. And the most plausible sightings, there's a lovely guy called Tim Golladay, who's a former Vice Admiral with the US Navy Coast Guard. And Tim has talked about anomalous phenomena that he was briefed into whilst he was working for the Coast Guard. And he has speculated quite openly about the possibility that whatever this non-human intelligence is, one of the most vast and unexplored areas of our planet is underwater. And a lot of the phenomena that is being reported is coming, or perceived to be coming, to and from the oceans.
Absolutely 100%. The sea and the water plays a huge part in all of this. How much we don't exactly know. Do they live down there? Do they just come and go from the water, or through the water from subterranean caverns or layers. There's lots of stories about underground bases, miles below the surface of the earth, and vast hollow spaces where there are alien cities and they can manipulate their own atmospheres because it's in such a contained environment. That sort of thing. There's stories like that. Who knows what the truth is on that? But I 100% agree with him that we are dealing with a range of phenomena. Some of it's, nuts and bolts from this reality. Some of it's from a higher dimension. Some of it, he says crypto-terrestrials. I think he means ultra-terrestrials, these beings that have always been here coexisting on this planet with us. But of course, there are also the crypto-terrestrials as well. And that's a thing as well. And some of those crypto-terrestrials might be ultra-terrestrials. Bigfoot might be an ultra-terrestrial as well as being a crypto-terrestrial. But yeah, absolutely. From my vantage point, we're dealing with a range of phenomena that I all lump together to call the greater phenomenon. And it's so cool to see people like Ross Coulthard and Leslie Kean openly talking about this stuff that, my research has led me to early on. Of course, in fairness, I think that Leslie has always been into this sort of thing, or at least has since she started investigating. And, once you investigate UFOs enough, you get to that weird crossover with the paranormal and the spiritual and the metaphysical and the consciousness stuff. And it gets really, really interesting and really puzzling. When I first started looking into UFOs, I thought the more I investigated, the more I would understand. But the reverse was very much true. The more you learn about these things, the less you understand. In our last item today, we have a witness from the Ariel School UFO landing and mass event. Where 60 kids saw this UFO and these beings come out of it, and some of them had some sort of telepathic communication with this, and this is a very well-known encounter. It's one of a long series of schoolyard encounters. Preston Dennett did a whole video going through a bunch of them. I encourage you to go check that out. So this is not an isolated case at all, but it's probably the most famous of these cases. Well, one of these witnesses is walking his story back. What? He's saying he made it all up. In a recent Netflix documentary titled Encounters, that's the Spielberg thing, produced by the iconic filmmaker Steven Spielberg, an astonishing revelation has sent shockwaves through the world of ufology. Dylan Vico, one of the key figures, I don't know how key he is, I never heard of him, key figures in the decades-long study of the Ariel School landing case, has come forward to confess that he fabricated the entire story of a UFO encounter and that the mysterious object witnessed by a group of schoolchildren was, in fact, nothing more than a shiny rock. The Ariel School landing case has been a cornerstone of UFO lore, with over 60 students reporting an otherworldly encounter at their school in Zimbabwe in 1994. The incident has captivated the imaginations of UFO enthusiasts and researchers for years, making it one of the most compelling cases in the annals of ET investigations. Vico's startling admission has left the UFO community and the public in disbelief. Well, I am in disbelief. I never heard of this guy, and now he's saying he made it all up. Well, anyway, what about the other 60 kids, right? So I'm very intrigued by this and what led him to walk this back and to say that it was a shiny rock all along. Clearly, there are many other witnesses, and they weren't just seeing a rock; they were having interactions. And if you go watch the John Mack, footage on it, the interviews that John Mack did with these kids, they've seen some stuff. I mean, these kids have PTSD. I mean, they are. I mean, they've seen some stuff. They didn't just see a shiny rock. So I don't know what this cat is all about, but it's an interesting story. I'm looking forward to hearing more from it and to see why exactly he has taken this new public stance and why exactly the Spielberg documentary chose to interview him rather than the many other witnesses. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this UFO News Roundup, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you wanted to share this video on social media, that'd be super groovy. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the first link in the description below. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.